Hi, I'm Paul Bleasby. Welcome back to my video site. This video is about the times in life where you feel like you're about to lose control. I often have clients that come to me and we might talk about depression or manic behaviour and we talk about the issues. And then the next time they see me, they say, I fell into that hole again. I fell into a deep depression. I got into a manic phase. How do I stop that? So what I've developed here is a plan to actually deal with those times where you feel that you're losing control or you're going to go into a risky behaviour. And this this plan I call jumping puddles. So what is it all about? Risky behaviour can be, as I talked, depression, where you feel like you're going to maybe increase your take of alcohol or get into drugs or to self-harm, or you're feeling suicidal. Other types of risky behaviour, as I said, could be manic, and where you feel like you're going to get this situation where you're going to increase your work or you're going to increase some sort of activity, and you know that what happens after that activity is that you crash and burn. Sometimes people have what we call psychotic behaviour, where they become very angry and violent, where they're going to hurt someone else or hurt themselves. So these are the types of risky behaviour that you can use this plan to avoid. And I call it jumping puddles. The first thing you do when we're talking about making a plan to avoid risky behaviour is you have to look at two parts. There's two parts of this plan. The first part is about warning signs, and the second part is about actions you can take when you get these warning signs. And the action part is really the part of the plan. So the first thing I do when I talk to a client is, okay, so you've been through this depression number of times. Tell me about the emotions or the signs that happen with you before you get into this depression. And sometimes it's a bit hard for people to remember that because there is often subtle signs that happen and we don't acknowledge them. It's in their unconscious. But when I talk a little bit further, people say, so people who are getting depressed, sometimes they get a little bit withdrawn. They don't feel like being around people. Sometimes they tend to go quiet, which is another sign. Sometimes they will snap at people. Little warning signs that indicate that perhaps I'm heading into a depression. People that are getting the manic phase often feel that they're starting to get on edge, or they're a bit fidgety, and they just can't settle down. Again, this is a subtle warning sign that perhaps I'm heading into a psychotic or a manic phase or any type of risky behaviour. So the thing about this is by getting yourself to think about these subtle changes that appear in yourself, you're bringing them into your consciousness. And the first step you do in this plan is to actually write those things down in your plan. And we'll talk about later where you put the plan, but it's about bringing those things into the consciousness so that if you start to see those signs, I'm getting a bit titchy or a bit short with people or I don't want to be around people, it's a warning sign for you. Do I need to put my action plan into place? The second part about warning signs, and this is really great, particularly if you're in a partnership or you've got friends that around you that you see, because I guarantee if you ask them, do you notice when I'm about to head into depression or in a manic phase? They will say yes, most definitely. You start to get stitchy with me or you get quiet. You start not wanting to see people. I guarantee you that your good friends and partners around you say, yeah, I know, and I usually try to head the other way. So that's a great conversation to ask. Ask them what are the types of things that they notice in you. Again, they might notice that you're withdrawing, but they might notice it before you do. Or they might notice that you're getting snappy. Or they may notice that you're getting on edge before you do. So ask your friends, again, if they notice the warning signs. Now, an important part of that conversation when you ask those people, you talk to your partner and you say, look, if you notice those signs in me, I give you permission to say to me, are you okay? Are you heading into a depression? Or do you need to put your plan into action? So what you're doing is you're enabling your friends and your family to tell you when the warning signs, when they notice the warning signs. And that may be before you even notice it. Then you can make a decision whether, no, look, I'm just having a bit of a bad trot, or yes, maybe I am heading into a depression or a manic episode. So have that conversation with your family and friends, and again, write down the warning signs and be aware of them yourself for when they come up. So that's the warning signs. So that needs to be put down in your plan. The second part of your plan is what I call the action phase. Now, there's two types of actions that you can do. There are actions that you can actually do for yourself, where you don't need anyone else, and there are actions that actually require the input of someone else. You might need someone to talk to or to go out with or whatever. So there's two levels of actions that you do. Now, it's very important before you actually talk about the actions, that you need to think about things that are going on for you when you do get into a depression or manic behaviour or psychotic behaviour or any other risky behaviour. You can talk with your counsellor about this, but have a think about what are the emotions that are going on for you when you head into this risky behaviour. For example, if you're going into depression, people often say that they feel sad or they feel alone. So the emotion is sadness. Okay? People that go into a manic phase often feel scared something's going to happen, and if they don't do this work on time. So the emotion is scared. People that are going into a psychotic episode may feel angry that they feel that they're under threat, so they need to be angry to protect themselves. So the emotion is anger. Now, the importance of finding and honing in on what the essential emotion is at this time is that attached to an emotion is often a need. And these needs give you a clue about the actions you need to take. Let me talk you through that. So if you're going into a depression and you know that essentially you're going to feel sad, people who feel sad might need a number of things. They might need to be reassured. They might need to be comforted. They might need to talk to someone else. They might need to be alone, or they might need to just have time to cry. So you can see that getting to understand the emotion gives you a clue to the things that you need at that time that you might head into that risky behaviour. If you're feeling scared, then you may need to feel safe. You may need to be reassured. You may need to withdraw from a situation where you're threatened. So again, the need is attached to the emotion.